Welcome to the Warning Track Power Hour. I am Dr. Andrew Scaff. He is Dr. Michael Warman, Esquire. On today's show, we'll talk about the Royals into the first half of the season as they kind of limped into the All-Star break. We're actively following the MLB All-Star game, which is happening right now as we're recording on Tuesday evening. We'll talk a little bit about the MLB Draft and the Royals picks there. But we'll start today where we've been starting the last several weeks with the World Cup now reaching the semifinals. We are between the first and second semifinal games. Spain has won the first game against France 2-0, with England up tomorrow against Argentina. Mike, are you still fully enthralled with the World Cup, or have you faded away a bit and your attention paid to these games?
I'm still interested. I was surprised that France put up such a poor showing against Spain. Spain, I think, looked really good today. Um, France never really threatened scoring. It wasn't the most exciting. Again, it wasn't the most exciting game offensively for either team, but Spain had more chances, I think, than France did. But it was just one of those sort of control the ball types of games. I hope the final, whoever is against, whether it's Argentina or England, is a little more wide open and score heavy. I'd like to see because I think both of those teams uh, are more dynamic offensively than Spain is, I think, even though Yamal's very good, but Yamal hasn't really had much of a hasn't really had that great a tournament so far. But um, Spain's defense has just been really suffocating, and they just are know how to handle the opposing teams. I thought I was actually rooting for Belgium against Spain within the quarterfinals, since Belgium beat the United States. Belgium is the only team that has scored a goal against Spain in this whole tournament. Spain's only allowed one goal, which is, if they win the final, they would have allowed they would that would, without allowing a goal, they would have allowed the fewest goals of any World Cup champion ever,
Ooh,
and that would be with an extra game played this year compared to most of the previous World Cups. Um,
right.
the previous records, I think there's been a few teams that have allowed two goals over the course of the World Cup, but Spain's only allowed one. So if Spain can win the final without allowing a goal, they'll have the record all to themselves. But they've already, I guess, gotten the record for the fewest goals per game so far. They've played as many games. I think they played seven games this World Cup, only allowed one goal. So yeah, they look very impressive, but I would like to see either Argentina or France. I mean Argentina or England advance and score some goals and win the game. I would like to see Spain have to score goals, but going back to Belgium. Um, Belgium was the only team that scored against Spain. They were tied 1-1 until very, very late. And Thibaut Courtois, the top goalie for Belgium, I think he plays for Real Madrid or one. I think he's at Real Madrid. Um,
Yeah.
but he was injured like about 75, 80 minutes into the game. Um, and he had to come out. Yeah, he plays for Real Madrid. Yeah, he had to come out of the game, and then they put their backup goalkeeper in. And the goal that was allowed was kind of a weak one, where it kind of because it ricocheted off the goalkeeper. It was a shot that the goalkeeper stopped, but it allowed it to go too far away, and the rebound um, was kicked in by Spain. So they won 2-1. But had Courtois stayed in the game and not been hurt, I think he probably would have made that save. And so that's something that I think Spain was fortunate against Belgium. Uh, and but they made France look, kind of silly at times. France didn't really come that close to scoring, so I'm not sure what happened with France. Um, but yeah, we'll see what happens with the second semifinal between Argentina and England. Do you have a favorite between those two?
I've been kind of going back and forth with them. I really don't know what to expect with that one. It's yeah, I mean England has looked pretty impressive and winning that game in Mexico, which I really thought that they would. I assumed Mexico was going to come out of that one ahead,
Yeah,
but so I mean, getting through that, playing at the altitude,
they beat Norway. Holland
and then they look good against not against Norway too. So
Holland didn't really have much of a game against England. They took them out too, which I think wasn't I don't know the wisest move either when they substituted him out towards the end when all they needed was one goal. You think that you want to keep Holland in there just because even if he's not looking so great, he has a way of manufacturing goals that other players
right,
don't, and he doesn't need to be, fully immersed in the flow of the game to affect it like that. So I was upset that
yeah.
they took Holland. I kind of wanted Norway to win, but now England has
Yeah,
uh,
so have they won you over then with that? They're like beating those two teams to
yeah,
get to
no,
where they are.
I do kind of want to see England win the World Cup since they're. I was talking to a friend of mine. He sees them as a little like the New York Knicks of the world soccer stage that it's been so long since they've won, and so maybe they're due
Yeah,
finally. Which I could see that. Spain and France and Argentina have each won World Cups, and they were each the last three of the last four winners of the World Cup. And Spain, I mean England hasn't won since 1966, so maybe. Maybe it's their time. And they do have two really good goal scorers. They have Bellingham, and then they also have Harry Kane, of course. So it's a little different from Messi. So if Messi can be controlled by England, I don't know if Argentina has enough other guys that can score goals for Argentina. But if if Harry Kane is held down, Bellingham can score, and vice versa. So it seems like there are at least two high-level goal scorers on England versus only one
yeah,
on um, uh, Argentina. That didn't really matter for France, who seemed to have multiple guys who could score a lot of goals, and they were held down by Spain altogether. So it didn't really seem to matter. But
yeah.
um, yeah, that's I think England has the slight advantage over Argentina just from what I've seen in the tournament, but I'm not. Argentina's been very fortunate coming back, but maybe they're the team of destiny, and they won they won 4 years ago, so maybe they can win it again.
Yeah. To be the best, you got to beat the best. Is that the
Yeah.
let me go with the an old wrestling?
To be the man, you have to beat the man,
Yes.
as Ric Flair would say.
Yeah. Yes. Is that where you're going with? That's the basically the analysis here.
I guess so.
No.
I think it's interesting. These are the four highest ranked um, FIFA uh, ranking teams left in the World Cup. So it's the only time ever the top four FIFA rankings have also been the semifinals, all four semifinals in the World Cup. So I guess FIFA had their ranking system has uh, uh, panned out lately. But I was a little. I don't like the way Spain plays that much because they just kind of hold the ball and they don't do a lot.
Yeah.
And so it's a less fun game to watch for me. So I don't want Spain really to win. Uh, I'd rather see Argentina or England beat Spain, but I think Spain probably will be the favorite going into the final since they beat France so convincingly.
Or do you think the VAR darlings will should be have like an extra thumb on the scale for them as an Argentina been beneficiaries of a lot of
They have apparently.
calls that have gone their way in
They,
replay.
yeah, they've been pretty good with the VAR. Um, so has England. Kind of has been a little bit successful in some of that too. Although now England has also they also had, I guess, they had the red card guy sent off in against Mexico, and
True.
so that was something tough. But yeah, Argentina's been pretty fortunate in all of its aspects. Messi didn't get his had a potential red card that he didn't get reviewed on VAR early in the tournament, the first game, I think, when he stepped on the back of that guy's leg. Um,
Mm,
and they also had a guy on Switzerland get sent off through VAR because he pretended to get tripped when he just took a dive, and he was given a second yellow card for simulation. Uh,
I was watching when that happened. That was pretty crazy because yeah, there was no contact at all between yeah the player that was given a yellow card on the field. So I guess is that how the rule works? Is like if a yellow card was given and then it's seen to be not contact, the yellow card has to still be given. Was that seemed like
I
how they
don't
were
know if
talking
a
about
yellow
it?
card still has to be given or not, but it can be
Yeah,
rescinded. And then, but again, the same thing happened in the United States game against, I think it was Paraguay, or I think it was against Paraguay, or maybe it was against. He was against Australia. It was one of the first two games the United States played. The U.S.
yeah,
defender got a yellow card, but it turned out the I think the guy on the other team took a dive, and it wasn't really a yellow card offense, and the other guy got the yellow card for diving. So the same thing
yeah.
happened in the USA. So I don't know if I think there is a bit of an automatic card for diving, but I don't know if it's that a yellow card has to be transferred. I think it just is a two. They're seen as two yellow card offenses that could happen at the same play.
Yeah, the way they were talking about it, the announcers were talking about it in the game. They made it sound like it was like if the yellow card was awarded or was given, then if the VAR shows that it there wasn't contact, then it is just given that it's still given, but it's given to the other. It
No,
would be given to the other player. I don't know if they were just saying that or if that was like actually what the
maybe it
ruling
is.
is.
I don't know. I
I don't
don't
know.
know.
I don't. Yeah. It
Yeah,
just seems odd, but I mean, yeah, diving, if it causes a delay, that's where it should be an auto yellow card, right?
yeah,
Because it's more about like purposefully delaying the game for a reason that isn't like injury or contact related. So even if it like creates a situation where a review has to happen, I mean that's just game time that should have been being played that they've had to waste now. So somebody should get a card, right? For that, just for that.
yeah. I'm glad that they've just decided to crack down a bit on diving, but they still. I think there's a lot. There's a ways to go on it, but
Yeah.
it seems like it's they're moving in the right direction for it. I think there's been a little. I think fewer attempts at diving this tournament than some of the ones I've seen before. So, um, but
I haven't seen it as much. Yeah.
yeah, there's still a lot of selling uh of any contact, I think, which
And lots of asking for official
mhm,
like interfere like the officials to intervene and
yeah.
with fouls or cards.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they took one of the Norway goals away that Holland pushed a guy down before the corner kick went in, and then they lost that goal. So,
Yeah.
Holland, he had to kind of a not so great game against England, but again, I still would have kept him in just to see what happened. And then, did you see that the Norway goalkeeper hit one of the cables? Uh,
Oh, for one of the cameras or something?
on the camera cables, and that affected that led to the second goal that England scored, and
Oh, no.
they didn't review it because they didn't think it hit. They didn't notice that it hit the cable.
Oh,
Um,
no, I didn't hear about that. Yeah.
yeah, so that was another little controversy for Norway, England, but um,
Hmm.
yeah, I have to th I think England is the slight favorite over Argentina right now. Um, of course, England and Argentina have a big history in the World Cup, but also history with the Falkland Islands War of the early '80s.
Yes.
But England beat Argentina. I was reading about this. They beat Argentina in the 1966 World Cup, and it was a very hard fought game. And the English coach called Argentina's players animals afterward, and that really offended the Argentine team. And then in 1986, which was a few years after the Falkland War, that was the year that Diego Maradona scored two goals against England. One was an amazing goal where he ran basically the length of the field and dribbled the length of the field by all these English players and scored. But then the other one was the infamous Hand of
The hand
God
of God.
goal
Yes.
where he punched the ball into the net rather than he didn't hit. It was like he had his he had his head and his fist at the same time, but he hit the ball with his fist rather than his head. Uh,
Yeah.
and that was of course before VAR replay.
Right.
So
I just remember all
you,
that grainy footage though too, 'cause, like we're not blessed with the HD 4K coverage that we have today from like every angle possible. In the 80s, right?
yeah, this is like that's the first World Cup I remember watching. I remember seeing some of it on TV when I was a kid. The '86 World Cup. I don't know if I don't think I saw the Argentina game. I don't remember any particular game that I watched, but I remember watching some of the World Cup in 1986 as a kid on TV. But yeah, that was hosted by Mexico, and that was the last be time until 2022 that Argentina, that was their second World Cup victory. They beat England in the quarterfinals and then went on to win the World Cup behind Maradona. Um, but then there was a couple other big World Cup games where England played Argentina. Argentina beat England, I think, in 1998. Uh, and that was the game that David Beckham got um, a red card against uh, Argentina, and they lost on penalty kicks. And then in 2002, I think England beat Argentina in the World Cup, but they haven't played since then. So it's a big matchup between two geopolitical rivals and soccer rivals as well. So we'll see what I think. There's probably less bad blood now than there was 40 years ago, the last time they played, but
Right.
we'll see.
Well, none of those players were probably even alive yet, even
Messi's
40
the
years
young,
ago.
Messi's the
That's
oldest.
his 38, I think, right? So,
39, so he was born in the '80s. He's probably the only one that's even born in the '80s. I
yeah,
don't know. Yeah,
I'm sure he grew up hearing stories of these games, but
yeah, yeah. But
was not a in-person witness to any of them.
no. But we'll be back next week. We'll have both review well the review of the other semifinal, but also by that point the third place game, which will be between France and the loser of Argentina England, and the championship game on Sunday, which will be the winner. The winner of Argentina England will play against Spain. All that will be determined by the time our next episode rolls around. So we'll discuss the World Cup final, and maybe we can discuss the World Cup as a whole. So far, it seems like it's been a really good tournament, and even though the U.S. got knocked out where they did, it seems like good soccer has been played, and there have been a lot of exciting moments. And until this last round anyway, it seems like the stars were the ones who really were doing a lot of the scoring as well. Mbappe and company were held scoreless against Spain, but before that they were uh, pretty prolific. So we'll see what happens with that. We don't really have any American football news to discuss. There have been a couple of lists being put out by ESPN over the best top 10 players and things like that. And Patrick Mahomes was only the numbers two quarterback on that list, which maybe was a bit of controversial with Josh Allen as number one, who, and of course, Josh Allen hasn't accomplished anything in the playoffs, um, even without having to face Mahomes this last year. He couldn't get Buffalo to the Super Bowl once again. So we'll see we'll see if Mahomes uses this as motivation this next year. Um, Patrick was did you see him at the Argentina, um, was it, no, Switzerland, the Argentina-Switzerland game? Did you see
Switzerland,
Mahomes
yeah.
there?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he was sitting in the one of the or in front of one of the boxes, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, he was there. And he also had played he played golf with some of the English players I saw as well.
Yeah.
He must be feeling a little better playing golf and doing things like that. He went also was at the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce uh, wedding,
Of course.
and yeah, so it seems like he's enjoying his off season. He's recovering from his injury. Hopefully, uh, Rasheed Rice is also recovering from his
His knee
knee
surgery.
surgery now that he's out of jail. Uh, Training camp starts up in a couple of weeks, so we'll have that to talk about. But now, basically, what we have left is a lot of baseball coverage. Do you want to talk? So we have three basic topics. We have the All-Star game, which is going on right now. We have the MLB Draft, and then we also have just the Royals season in general so far. Which do you want to talk about first?
Well, maybe we if we go chronologically, end of the first half of the season, then we can just get rid of that and be done with talking about the Royals first half, which was quite bad. So as a
Yeah,
whole, yeah,
the Royals
maybe that's the
are
way to go.
38 and 55 on the year. Is that correct? Um, no, 38 and 59. Excuse me, 38 and
38 and 15. Yeah,
59.
they're 21 games under 500.
21
Yeah.
games under 500. They have tied for the worst record in Major League Baseball with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Yes. It ended the first half on a
Five
five
game
game
losing.
losing streak on the road. Yeah, not great by any means.
They
They
have
limp into the final, into the maybe first of all, yeah. Do you like that they call us the end of the first half of the season, even though they've played well over half the games? Like, does that bother
yeah,
you?
the half is longer than one half. They played about 90 uh 40 99. Roosevelt played 90. They played 97 games out of
Yeah,
102.
like
So
16 games beyond the halfway point.
there's only 65 games left. Yeah, they should call it the first segment of the season, I guess.
Yes, pre
Uh,
All-Star break
yeah,
portion of the season.
it's not the bigger half they've played. Um,
Yes,
and
because that's how halves work. One is
yeah.
bigger than the other.
If you're baking a candy bar and you want to split it, you want the bigger half to yourself. Uh, so yeah, it's not even split, that's for sure. But
Yeah.
yeah, the Royals' first part of the season it was pretty bad, much worse than we would have wanted. They're 13 games behind the White Sox and the Guardians, who are each 5 games over 500. So they're out of the wild. They're 10 games out of the wild card hunt. So they're basically dead in the water going into this. So you think the Royals are going to be sellers at the trade deadline, or are they just going to kind of keep limping in and doing what they're doing? Because they don't usually get rid of their, uh, you know,
Yeah, they don't
they get rid of
tend
Wacha,
to.
Lugo, some of their older veterans.
I think Waka and Lugo both have at least some kind of like partial no trade clause. One I think has a full no trade clause. So they'd each have to like waive, some part of their contract power. but they may want to if the team is performing this poorly. I don't know that Lugo's actually healthy right now. I mean, he hasn't been pitching all that well. I think his last appearance, it took him something like 90 pitches to get through 4 innings and wasn't that sharp either. So it wasn't like a blowout loss, but it wasn't impressive. So I'm not sure that he's fully healthy right now. He did take that line drive off the head a
Yeah.
few weeks ago, and so this is maybe he hasn't fully recovered from that injury. If you can fully recover from that quickly, that is, you never really know, right? Head injuries are a bit odd, but
Yeah.
but Wacha has pitched quite well all season. He's overcome a lot of the issues that he'd had in the previous couple of years, well enough to be named to the All-Star game. And he played well today in his 1 inning in relief. So that was a positive sign.
Yeah.
Trying to find something good out of this first half anyway.
Yeah. Witt, he scored a run in the first inning. Wacha had as a successful shutout inning. The American League is up 4-0 in the eighth inning right now, so looks like they will probably win the All-Star game. So, do you root for the American League in the All-Star game because the Royals are on the American League side?
Usually, that's usually what happens. I like to see whatever Royal players that are selected get into the game and hopefully have good performances and not have a
Hmm.
good showing for the club, which they both did. They both played really well. Oh, and we probably should also mention that Caglianone was named to the home run derby squad and wasn't able to advance, but did
He hit
he
some
had a
big
pretty
home
nice
runs, I
performance.
saw.
His nice
Yeah.
home runs. Got the crowd going a couple of times.
Hmm.
So that was a nice showing too. Did you tune into the derby?
No, I saw a couple highlights, but I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
I've watched some of it sometimes, but I didn't watch it yesterday.
Uh,
Um, I Uh, yeah, so the Royals, yeah, it seems like they've been they didn't win. Yeah, Caglianone didn't win the home run derby. The Royals though are winning in the All-Star game. But I guess maybe the biggest story over the weekend is going to be the Major League Baseball draft. The Royals have picked several players in the draft already, but their first round pick was a bit of a surprise to say the least. I think to uh, draft observers since the Royals had the number 6 overall pick. They picked a prospect that was not in the top 10 in most of the scouting rankings. They picked Zion Rose, an outfielder from Louisville, Chicago native. Um, as their number one pick overall. I guess the number 6 pick overall, number one Royals pick overall. Uh, what did you think of the Royals draft pick, Zion Rose at number 6? Was that you think the Royals are onto something that other teams just don't know about, or is it a sign that the Royals just don't know what they're doing?
well, past performance the last several years, I think you and I have looked in at on draft results and seen how the players have developed since the Royals have made picks, and they don't really seem to have a clear track record of picking guys that have success very quickly. They have a few that have done well, like Bobby Witt and Caglione has at least made it to the majors. But yeah, that seems like a long stretch. I think yeah, Rose was uh, yeah, like the number 30 prospect according to at least MLB. And then as a fan base, having a top 10 pick, picking at 6, there's only 5 teams ahead of them that are picking, right? So you expect a top 10 prospect, and to see them dip that far outside the top 10 is a little bit surprising, especially with the Royals' track record of not really being able to identify talent very well.
Yeah,
So
from
I mean, this could turn out fine, but it still just creates this whole scenario again where now everyone can scrutinize and complain about it for maybe 2 to 3 years before he either pans out or doesn't pan out. Like I don't know why you want to go through that as a franchise, especially when you already have a lot of scrutiny because you're playing poorly right now.
Yeah, I
So
guess
I
he took.
don't understand this. This does not help anyone understand what the club is doing and having any kind of thread showing that they have any level of competence, Mike. That's the issue.
Oh, yeah, I guess Rose is he's an outfielder with some power, and that's what the Royals need right now. So maybe he's a position of need. Also, I saw that someone thought maybe the Cubs at 23 were going to take Rose, so he wasn't going to be around for the 30th pick. So I don't know. Again, the Royals are picking number six, though. They should be picking trying to get a person who they think is a top 10 player rather than a top 25 player. Uh, unless they're
Right.
playing games with the signing um, bonus and trying to get people under slot and then pick over slot later. I don't know if that's really what the Royals are doing or not. It doesn't seem like that based on their other picks. They also kind of went under value for some of their other picks. They drafted Taylor Rabe at number 30. And I think he was the 40th or something prospect. So kind of about the same range.
In the
Uh,
same area.
at
That's
least.
not crazy.
Um, but yeah, the Zion Rose was a perhaps a reach, but maybe he turns out to be something like he's Patrick Mahomes. He's the person that they thought was going to go late. One maybe a couple teams had their eye on him and decided to pick him earlier, and he's gonna turn into a star player. So that's what's the hope, I guess.
It is
But
possible.
But
Yeah.
you don't trust the Royals as being able to draft good players, of course, because of their track record. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm. It's so hard of the drafts of the major sports drafts. I think baseball is the hardest to predict who's going to be a good player, and even though the other ones are sort of crapshoots as well, but I think baseball is even more so because it takes so long for players to develop and make it to the major leagues usually. So
Right.
but it's one of those things where maybe just going with consensus is not the wrong thing to do. Maybe
Well, because
that's
at
what
least in the moment, you're being judged based on what the consensus is. So you're not going to be overly scrutinized if you just
Mhm.
do what is the consensus.
Yeah.
But if you go outside the consensus, you are going to be criticized. Like it's just what is going to happen. I don't know why you invite more criticism when you're already being criticized for how bad the team is playing on the field right now, when there's expectation that they would actually be contending for a playoff spot now. Yeah. And yeah, like as you mentioned though too, when they made the first pick and they did draft a lower like projected prospect than what the slot was, then you think that maybe they're going to be playing that game with the other next slot. The next pick they picked under slot, and then the
Yeah.
next three picks they chose, which were all their total of first day picks, were under slot as well. So at 56 they picked the number 89 prospect. At 91 they picked the number 217 prospect, and at 119 in the fourth round they picked a guy that wasn't even on the prospect list. My that has more than a couple hundred players on it.
Hmm.
So all five of their first day picks were under to well under slot, except for the one that was close with their second
Yeah.
pick. So
Yeah.
so like the concept of them, yeah, trying to play the game about like underslotting one, overslotting one, the next one, it balances out overall. We maybe get somebody that slides because they're not sure they're going to be able to sign
Mhm.
them, and then you can overwhelm them with extra cash to get them to play.
Yeah.
But this just makes them look cheap, really, is what it looks like. It looks like they're just trying to draft low and hope that they can sign players for less than, like all of their players for less than what they're expecting. But I don't know if the Royals can do that. I think they're going to have to overpay players to make them accept their draft stock. Period. I don't know that they're going to want to come to the Royals organization the way it is right now. Like guys may just not sign. It's possible.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure how much that happens for like I think everybody goes. It's if they get drafted by a major league team, most people just go and
They
play because
tend to. Now, years ago, that used to happen all the time. And I think the way they've done it now that it's less common, but it still can happen.
yeah, I don't think the Royals, even though they aren't
Yeah.
doing very well this year, I don't think they're a laughing stock in the way maybe they were 20 years ago. So, um,
And that's all perception too, right? So like,
yeah,
we're a bit down on the team right now, so maybe we aren't quite as happy with them as they're
yeah,
perceived by others.
yeah. Uh, ESPN says the Royals' best value pick was the sixth round pick, Justin Legwernick. They think that the quickest to the big leagues is Max Yell, a pitcher from West Virginia, third rounder. I think the sleeper to watch is the second round pick. Uh, and they also
Why don't you?
seem to think,
That was the high school player.
yeah, Jack Slightum.
Yeah.
Uh, they seem to think that I don't know, they seem to not be as negative on the draft as maybe most of the local blogs have been, simply just because the Zion Rose pick was so out of the blue. Um, it just kind of seemed to sour everything, thinking, oh, the Royals are picking just some random guy at six who probably could have been there at 30, um,
Which they also have, yes, yeah.
which they also, yeah, have. But it's, yeah, it's a little strange, but
Yeah.
maybe they know what they're doing. We don't know, but it's hard to, yeah. They did pick Bobby Witt. That was the right pick. They did pick Caglianone. That was the right pick recently. So they've gotten some picks right in the last 5, 6 years. So maybe they can. They've also gotten a few picks wrong. It seems like for sure. Asa Lacy and some other guys like that haven't panned out anything. Uh, the Royals. We didn't mention the Royals' 2014 first round pick. Foster Griffin ended up making the All-Star team for the Washington Nationals this year. So another former Royal on the Nationals. He was one you had mentioned. You had mentioned he had Tommy John surgery very soon after he made his debut for the Royals. So he's really climbed his way back after some tough going. So good for him. But yeah,
Which
the Royals.
included, yeah, like a several year stint in Japan too. So like he really had to work his way back. I mean,
Mhm.
just to the majors, but as an all-star and at 30, really in his first real work as a major league player. It's great. It's a great accomplishment.
Yes. And it looks like the Royals All-Stars are going to be on the victorious side, up 4-0 in the ninth inning. The American League is. So, yeah, I don't know if we'll want to stick around at the end of that, or should we wrap up this week's episode of the Power Hour? I think we've covered most of our topics that we've wanted to cover, with mainly the World Cup and
Yeah.
Royals baseball, but not as not as rosy picture as we would have liked going into the All-Star break. We would have wanted the Royals at least be within shouting distance of 500, or shouting distance of the American League Central lead. Which again, the leading teams are only 5 games over 500, so it's not like there's been a team that's really pulled away. It just the Royals have really been bad, and I don't know if that means that there's going to be a lot of wholesale changes next year, whether Cotrero is going to be there or not. Do you think Cochero's gone after this year if the Royals don't turn things around?
No, no, I don't expect so because I don't think the club seems like they think that there's anything wrong because the problem is not at the managerial level, it's above it. And I don't think they don't seem to have any indication that they're going to make changes at any level above there, which has to happen before they can fix anything else. I don't think Quatrero is really making decisions. I think everything's coming from the front office. That's the way it looks because we've had three managers in a row who've made the same bizarre on-field decisions that don't follow like either traditional baseball logic or like the Moneyball style, statistics driven model for baseball decision making either. So I don't think the decisions are being made at the managerial level. So as long as they're following that, as long as he doesn't deviate from what the plan is, I don't think they're going to fire Pereira.
Hmm.
That's
Interesting.
my view on it, Mike. I don't know if you
I,
are on the same boat there, or if
I don't I don't feel quite as close to the I don't because I'm not in Kansas City, so I don't
yeah
feel the day in day out quite as much as you do. So I would
yeah
guess that if the Royals lose 100 games, Contreras is going to be out just because you got to do something.
it's
Uh,
possible he'd just be the fall guy essentially, but they
yeah,
bring somebody else in that's going to make the same decision. So what difference does it make?
yeah, I know, but at least you look like you're doing something.
It's a perception thing.
Yeah, even if just as the old saying goes, rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. It's at least
Yeah,
looks like there's some sort of action going on. Um,
yeah.
but
But
yeah, the
I mean,
Royals need a lot of help.
just to circle back to what you mentioned though about the trade deadline though, I don't really know that most of their like real trade pieces are guys that are probably injured right now, and so that I don't know that they
Other
would be that much value for return on any of the guys that they have
Yeah,
that they would
other
really
than
want yet.
Wacha, yeah,
Who
yeah,
I mean, you don't know for sure if he's willing to accept a trade. So like it may limit the partners to what is either under his contract or
mhm,
him just accepting it. So if the right offer comes, then I'm sure he would be willing to listen, but it may limit the you know trade partners that they may have
yeah,
too. So I really don't want to see them make trades because I do not trust what they will get in return because it seems like they get fleeced in most of the deals that they make. So unless they're just unloading salary, but it's like for what purpose? Like if you're not getting the right guys in return, then who cares?
hmm
From the fan perspective, from the team perspective, they don't want to spend money they're not going to get a return on, right? But if it's not going to lead to wins, I don't really care what they do, as long as what they do doesn't lead to more losses than they're currently dealing with. No, I don't know.
Well,
They still do things like when they traded Benintendi years ago, right? Like the first player from that trade is finally making it to the major league this season, and that's
mhm,
4 seasons ago. So
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, that's the kind of trades that they've tended to make at this time of year.
yeah.
That
They haven't made any successful trades lately. At least not. It doesn't seem like nothing like At least when I don't know. Maybe the last successful trade they've had was the I don't know the Wade Davis trade or the
well,
uh,
I mean,
Zach
you'd
Greinke.
have
I'm
to say
getting
the Zobrist trade was
Zobrist,
important in 2015.
Johnny Cueto. Yeah.
Yeah, picking up Johnny Cueto and Ben Zobrist though were probably the two big ones. I think there were a couple trades on paper in this offseason that look good, like when the Royals got Matt Strom, who hasn't
Mhm.
really played all that well this season, and I think the player that they traded for him has also not played very well.
Mhm.
Uh, and picking up Isaac Collins was a good move, but they haven't really used him very well. He's only sort of played okay, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you noticed this thing too? Like how the National League seems to be much stronger this season. Like, do you think that the American League seeming to trail the National League in production this season? You think that's gonna at the trade deadline you're gonna see a lot more players move from the like solid players move from the American League to the National League? Is the imbalance going to become even stronger
I
at the
don't know.
deadline?
Well, judging by the All-Star game, the American League is the top team.
It's true.
they're shutting out
But a
the
lot of
voluntary
those players
uh, National League.
maybe headed the other way at the deadline now, right? Because any of these teams that are like around 500, if they start to fail in the next 2 weeks, the deadline would be the 31st usually. So it's like
Yeah,
it's only
usually.
2 weeks and a couple days away from when we're recording this episode right now. That one team goes on a rough streak, they may try to shed some salary, and the teams that are probably going to be buying are there may be like an arms race in the National League. It's kind of how it's set up.
Yeah.
That may lead to an even bigger imbalance, which means like teams like the Royals may have a quicker path to being at least mediocre and contending if the whole league gets worse at the same time. So that's it
Well, yeah,
could
a
work
lot
out
of
in our favor in some
it's
way.
true. A lot of the players who get traded there are usually just rental players for the one season, and it's prospects that come back. So maybe long term it's better for one team, short term better for the other side.
Yes, right.
It's hard
Can
to
work out though.
predict, but we'll see how things shape up. But it looks like the Royals' season is already lost. Hopefully, they'll avoid losing 100 games. They've had a lot of injuries, I think, this year. Maybe that will also keep Quatrero's job, saying, well, there's been a lot of injuries. That's why the Royals haven't had a good season, um, and that's the only reason why. And so we're going to keep the course next year and just see what happens if they can stay healthy. Maybe better things can happen, and Caglianone can keep developing, and Carter Jensen can keep developing, and get some pitchers to stay healthy, things like that. And maybe that's what they're thinking in the front office now. But we don't have to think that way at War Trek Power. We know that we're going to do a great job this week and every week on our episodes. And we're going to come back next week with an even more exciting, action-packed, fact-filled, hard-hitting, hair-splitting analysis, as is our trademark here at the Power Hour. So we have all that. So we have more baseball next week that we'll talk about. We have more World Cup, the finals of the World Cup to talk about. We will also get closer and closer to NFL action as we move next week. So we have, things are starting to heat up here, just as the weather is also heating up again, at least in my neck of the woods. It was cooler the last week, but now it's starting to get hot again. Um, and yeah, we'll need to take a hydration break here for uh, uh,
And indoors for the Warning Trip Power Hour.
with a trip hour hydration break. Maybe we can get a sponsor for the hydration break.
Yes.
I've been watching it mostly on Telemundo. It's the Hidratación break. Hydration is
Yeah, it's
not just hydration, hydration.
nice. Wow, that sounds
Hydra,
more
hidrata,
intense.
hidratación. Yeah. Uh, uh, so anyway, we'll take a hydration break until next week. Here
Nope.
on the Power Hour, we wish you the best of luck if you're making your bets for the World Cup semifinals and finals. We also wish you the best of luck if you're making baseball bets. This baseball will be back by the end of this week and be back on in the second half of the season, the shorter half of the season, post All-Star break segment. That
Yes.
about 65 games left in the season, so we're about 3/5 of the way through already, and um, yeah, we'll see what the last 40% of the season entails. So we've all that to look forward to. And so until next time, I am Dr. Michael Werman. He is Dr. Ader Scaff. We are the Warning Track Power Hour. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and or our podcast. Available on many different podcast delivery platforms, including the one you're using right now, most likely. If you listen to us on the podcast, we appreciate your listenership, your viewership, your um, your support, and your never-ending enthusiasm for the Warning Track Power Hour. We couldn't do it without your patronage of our fine product. So We're happy to have you aboard. We will maybe be back next week, also talking a little about a few other off the wall odd topics. Um, we didn't really have that many this time. We didn't really branch out into our some of our patented old-timey sports discussion or uh, weird tangents, but maybe we can do that. Maybe we can do some of that next year, next week. Uh, so this week though, we kept it mainly above board to talk about soccer and baseball. But next week, who knows what will happen? We might be more the same, but might be something completely different. So yeah, that to look forward to next week. And until that time, we wish you here from the Power Hour. We wish you a good day.